and oily residues during voyages. Oilzyme.
Thank you so much. Can everyone hear me okay? Good morning, everyone. I'm Janelle Lee, the co-founder and CEO of Oilzyme. So a little bit about me. I'm from Singapore, and this is what we see on our coastlines almost every day. And with so many ships going around, accidents happen a lot, and this is what happens to our shoreline. So we got curious about what to do with the sludge that comes up. And I found myself in Professor Stephen Pointing's lab, where we worked on oil-degrading bacteria and treating this oil waste. 2 peer-reviewed papers later, the science became Oilzyme. So the problem that we're dealing with today is cargo tanker sludge. This is thick and toxic residue. So globally, there's 3 to 5 million tons generated across the global fleet. And what is this costing ship operators? Over $1 million all in. This is confirmed by our partner, Hafnia. And with every ton of sludge incinerated, about 1.1 to 1.5 tons of carbon dioxide are emitted. So currently, the industry has 3 imperfect standards. You can incinerate it, you can treat it with chemicals, you can use mechanical separation, but all these are costly or carbon intensive. And some irresponsible companies do dump it illegally, but thankfully there are rising fines and increasing enforcement around these. And with increasing regulatory pressure, like the IMO at 2050 and the EU ETS now covering shipping, the industry needs a fundamentally different solution. So this is where Oilzyme comes in. Oilzyme is a dry powder, a microbial formulation in natural substrate. All you do is add it to the holding tank, the bacteria activate and break down the hydrocarbon into carbon dioxide, water, and harmless biomass. And it's just 3 simple steps. The first one is dose. Just add the bacteria into the tank. Second, it degrades during transit. And third, upon arrival, you can discharge when it's below 15 parts per million oil, according to MARPOL Annex 1 standard. So what does this give our customers? Over $750,000 in annual savings. And with this comes 330 tons of carbon dioxide avoided per vessel per year. All this can be realized without any hardware installation, using our ambient stable formulation, with no chemicals required, and our bacteria are native and non-pathogenic. So where do we sit with our competitors? Oilzyme is the only one in the low carbon, low cost corner. So we're currently in the intermediary de-risking phase, where we're running repeated lab validation on actual Hafnia sludge samples, which has yielded strong reduction in petroleum hydrocarbon. And with that, we are also preparing for the pilot tank retrofit on a Hafnia ship. And we've secured $35,000 from the Yale Planetary Solutions Prize, as well as $150,000 from the NUS funding for the science. And last and most importantly, we have a signed letter of intent with Hafnia, the world's largest product tanker fleet with 117 vessels. This is a $1 billion opportunity hiding in plain sight. There are 8,800 tankers globally, and we're going to start in Singapore with a 5-year target of 250 vessels. And what this will give us is $34 million in annual revenue. That's every vessel is a recurring annual contract. So as for our business model, this will be costing our customers an expected amount of $120,000, which gives them over $800,000 in annual savings. And they'll expect their returns in under 2 months. With expanding margins in recurring contracts, our business model is kept simple. As for our team, I lead the business side of things. So I just graduated from the Yale School of Environment. I was from Oxford and Yale NUS, and I had a previous startup exit. And with me is Professor Stephen Pointing. He leads the science from NUS. He had 20 plus years, and he also led the 2024 oil spill response. And with us, we're advised by Peter Boyd from Seabay, and also the Hafnia's executive team. And our next hire is a maritime sales lead. So what this 10,000 unlocks for us, this is a $10,000 bridge tranche, which sits alongside the 35K and 150K that we have unlocked. And what this gives us is specifically, first, tank retrofit fittings for our pilot. Second, it helps us to scale up our microbial formulation. And third, it allows us to conduct independent third-party analysis for our pilot. And this allows us to unlock our first pilot. For our first 10 to 20 vessel fleet, this would yield 3,300 to 6,600 tons of carbon dioxide avoided, which that comes $7.5 to $15 million in annual savings. This is a natural solution to shipping's dirtiest problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for our judges.
Hi, thanks so much for the presentation. I did not know enough about this problem, so it was fascinating to learn.
Thank you.
The numbers on customer savings were quite big. I'm curious, on the flip side, how much revenue you can generate by selling this product to a customer. Like, what has Hafnia said in terms of that, and how do you think you'll be able to grow that over time?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that question. So the good thing about this product is we can keep costs relatively low. In our first year, we'll actually be outsourcing the fermentation process. So another company will be helping us to create the bacteria, which will lead to higher costs in the first few years. But eventually, we hope to have that in-house. But from the conversations that we have had with Hafnia, based on what they have given us, which is over $1 million in vessel